The sound of distant howling wind, a car engine humming, and faint whispers overlay the background. Fog creeps along the pavement. There's something unsettling about a long, empty road at night, the way the darkness seems to stretch endlessly before you. The eerie silence, broken only by the occasional rustling of leaves or the distant cry of an unknown creature. Roads like these have a way of playing tricks on your mind. They make you question what you see, what you hear, and whether you're really alone. But for some, the fear of the unknown on these roads isn't just paranoia. It's real. Throughout history, travelers, truck drivers, and late-night commuters have reported terrifying encounters on these roads. Some speak of shadowy figures standing at the roadside, disappearing as you pass. Others recall phantom hitchhikers, silent, pale, staring blankly ahead, who suddenly vanish from the back seat without a trace. And then there are the roads where vehicles mysteriously stall. Unseen hands press against fogged-up windows, and blood-curdling screams echo through the darkness. These are the roads where legends are born, where stories of the supernatural refuse to die, where the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. Tonight, we journey down some of the most haunted roads in the world, real locations where horrifying events have taken place and where travelers have witnessed things that defy logic and explanation. So fasten your seatbelts, keep your eyes on the road, and whatever you do, don't stop. There's a reason why so many people feel uneasy when driving alone at night. It's not just the darkness, it's the silence, the isolation, the feeling that you're completely cut off from the world. The human mind is wired to detect threats, to sense when something is watching. And on these empty roads, that primal instinct kicks in. The deeper into the night you drive, the more your surroundings change. The trees on the roadside seem taller, their twisted branches stretching toward you like skeletal fingers. Shadows shift unnaturally. The air feels heavier, as if something unseen is lurking just beyond your headlights. For some, the fear is irrational, a trick of the mind. But for others, the fear is very, very real. Imagine this. You're driving home after a long shift, exhaustion weighing down on you. The road ahead is empty, no other cars, no signs of life, just you, the hum of your engine, and miles of endless darkness. Then out of the corner of your eye, you see movement. A shadow, a figure, something standing just beyond the tree line. Your pulse quickens, your hands grip the wheel a little tighter. Maybe it was just your imagination, maybe not. Then your headlights flicker for just a second. Your radio crackles with static, and that's when you realize you're not alone. There are roads in this world that are more than just pavement and paint. They hold history, tragedy, restless spirits that never found peace. And if you happen to find yourself traveling down one of these roads, pray that you make it to the other side. Across the world, there are roads with histories so dark, so terrifying, that even the bravest drivers avoid them after sunset. These aren't just urban legends. Many who have traveled these roads have come back with stories, or not at all. Tonight we dive into some of the most chilling encounters ever reported on haunted roads. Clinton Road in New Jersey is infamous, not just for ghostly activity, but for mysterious disappearances and unsettling legends. It's one of the most haunted roads in America, stretching through miles of dense forest with no streetlights and barely any signs of life. One of the most terrifying stories involves the ghost boy of the bridge. Legend has it that if you toss a coin into the water beneath this bridge, the ghost of a drowned boy will throw it back to you. Many who have attempted this claim to hear whispers on the wind, or see a small figure standing at the edge of the water, staring. But that's not all. Drivers have reported phantom headlights appearing behind them, tailgating aggressively, only for the lights to vanish when they pull over. Others speak of shadowy figures darting across the road, or even sitting in the back seat of their cars. And then there are the stories of the Cross Castle. Hidden deep in the woods off Clinton Road, the ruins of this abandoned structure are said to be a gathering place for dark rituals and cult activity. Those who have dared to step inside report unexplainable scratches, sudden sickness, and even violent visions of a hooded figure. Would you drive this road alone? This road has been nicknamed Scotland's Ghost Road for a reason. The A75 Kinmount Strait has been the site of horrifying spectral encounters for over 50 years. One of the most famous cases took place in the 1960s. A truck driver was making his usual late-night trip when out of nowhere a group of people appeared in the middle of the road. He slammed on his brakes, bracing for impact, but the figures vanished. Terrified, he stepped out of his truck, only to feel an ice-cold breath against his neck. When he turned around, there was nothing there. Many other travellers have reported similar experiences, a cloaked figure suddenly appearing in the road, forcing them to swerve. A bloodied man banging on their windows, only to disappear into thin air. Whispers and eerie laughter echoing through the trees, despite no one being around. And in some cases, people who drive this road at night report seeing shadowy hands reaching toward their windshield, as if something is trying to pull them into the darkness. Would you keep driving? Or would you abandon your car and run? Tuen Mun Road is one of the most dangerous roads in Hong Kong, but not just because of its sharp turns and heavy traffic. Many believe that the high number of fatal accidents have led to restless spirits haunting the highway. Drivers often report ghostly apparitions appearing in the middle of the road, causing them to swerve violently, sometimes even crashing. But when they step out of their cars, no one is there. Some say they've seen a woman in red standing at the edge of the highway with hollow, soulless eyes. Others report a pale, faceless figure suddenly appearing in their rearview mirror, sitting in the back seat. One particularly chilling case involved a taxi driver who picked up a late-night passenger. She was silent, giving only vague directions. When he turned around to ask for a final stop, she was gone. The seatbelt was still buckled. Would you dare drive this road alone at night? These roads are just a few of the many places where the line between the living and the dead seems to blur. Are these merely ghost stories? Or are these highways truly cursed? But before we continue, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the world's most haunted roads, don't forget to subscribe to Mind of Nightmares. We explore the darkest mysteries, the most terrifying encounters, and the stories that keep you up at night. Now, let's continue our journey into the unknown. Some stories are whispered in hushed tones, passed from one unlucky traveller to another, but there are a few that are so disturbing, so terrifying, that they make even the most skeptical among us question reality. This is the story of a late-night truck driver, a long, lonely highway, and the passenger who was never really there. Mexico's Highway 5 is known for its deadly twists, its history of accidents, and most of all, its ghostly encounters. One night a truck driver named Javier Ortega was making his usual trip, transporting goods between Mexicali and San Felipe. He had driven this route hundreds of times before, but something about that night felt off. The air was heavy, the desert was eerily silent, and most unsettling of all, he felt like he was being watched. Then in the distance he saw her, a woman standing on the side of the road, pale, motionless, her long dark hair covering her face. She wore a tattered white dress, billowing slightly in the cold night wind. Javier slowed down. It wasn't uncommon for stranded travellers to need help, and besides, he couldn't just leave her out there alone. He rolled down his window. "Señorita, do you need a ride?" Something about her didn't feel right, but before he could drive off, she slowly lifted her head. Her eyes were hollow, sunken, a deep, unnatural blackness that sent chills down Javier's spine. "Please, help me." Against every instinct screaming at him to leave, Javier unlocked the door. The woman climbed in, her movements slow and unnatural. She sat silently in the passenger seat, staring ahead. No sound, no movement, just the weight of something Wrong. Javier tried to shake the feeling and focus on the road. "Where are you headed?" he asked, forcing his voice to stay calm. She didn't answer. The only sound in the truck was the low hum of the engine and Javier's own uneasy breathing. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw her head slowly turn toward him, and then she smiled. Javier's blood ran cold. His hands tightened on the wheel. The air inside the truck dropped to an icy chill, and then she screamed. Javier lost control of the truck, the wheel jerking violently as he swerved off the road. The world became a blur of motion and terror, and then silence. When Javier finally dared to look, the passenger seat was empty. The door had never opened. The seatbelt was still fastened. She was gone. "Thank you for the ride." Javier never drove that highway at night again. This is just one of the many terrifying encounters reported on haunted roads across the world. Was it a lost soul? A spirit trapped between worlds, or something far, far worse? Would you have stopped? Throughout history, lonely roads have been the setting for some of the most chilling encounters ever recorded. We explored the terrifying legend of Mexico's Highway 5, where a truck driver's routine trip turned into a nightmare when he picked up a passenger who was never really there. But this is just one of many eerie tales. There are countless roads across the world where travelers report ghostly apparitions, vanishing hitchhikers, mysterious figures standing in the fog, and strange, inexplicable whispers in the dead of night. Are these roads simply places of tragic history, or do they serve as gateways to something beyond our understanding? Some say the spirits of those who met a tragic end still wander, forever reliving their final moments. Others believe these encounters are warnings, glimpses into a hidden world that only a few unfortunate souls ever witness. But one thing remains certain. When you find yourself driving alone on a dark, deserted road, when the air suddenly turns cold, when you see something or someone standing in the distance, will you keep driving or will you stop? Don't stop. Have you ever experienced something paranormal while driving? Maybe you've seen a shadowy figure in your rearview mirror, heard whispers when no one else was there, or felt an unseen presence watching you from the side of the road. We want to hear your stories. Drop your scariest road trip encounters in the comments below, and who knows, your experience might just be featured in a future episode. If you love diving into the darkest mysteries, spine-chilling encounters and tales of terror, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new horror story from Mind of Nightmares. And if you enjoyed this journey down the world's most haunted roads, show some love by hitting that like button. It really helps keep the nightmares alive. See you on the road ahead. As we leave the haunted highways of Mexico, let's journey across the Pacific to Japan, where another chilling roadway awaits. Known as Okiku's Well Road, this path is shrouded in eerie legends and unsettling tales. Located near Himeji Castle, Okiku's Well Road is named after a tragic servant girl, Okiku, whose spirit is said to haunt the area. Legend has it that Okiku was falsely accused of losing one of her master's 10 precious plates. As punishment, she was thrown into a well and left to perish. Her restless spirit is said to emerge at night, counting to 9 before wailing in despair over the missing 10th plate. Travellers on this road have reported seeing ghostly apparitions, hearing disembodied voices counting, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. Some have even claimed to see Okiku herself, drenched and sorrowful, wandering near the well. With its dark history and spine-tingling encounters, Okiku's Well Road is not for the faint of heart. If you dare to travel this path, remember, you might just hear the chilling cries of a spirit seeking justice for an age-old wrong. Japan is a land rich in folklore and supernatural tales, and Okiku's Well Road is just one of many haunted locations. So, if you're ever in Himeji, take a detour to this eerie road, but be prepared for an encounter that could haunt you forever. And with that, our journey through the world's haunted roads comes to an end. But the night is still young and the shadows are always lurking. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes on the road. As we leave the haunted highways of Japan, let's journey to the land down under, where another chilling roadway awaits. Welcome to Wakehurst Parkway, Australia's ghostly thoroughfare. Located in New South Wales, this seemingly ordinary road is infamous for its eerie legends and spine-chilling encounters. Travellers have reported seeing a spectral woman dressed in white who mysteriously appears in the back seat of their cars. Legend has it that this ghostly figure is the spirit of a woman who met a tragic end on this very road. Her apparition is said to cause cars to stall or even veer off the road, leaving drivers with an overwhelming sense of dread. There have also been accounts of a ghostly nun who appears near the Deep Creek Reserve, adding to the road's sinister reputation. Witnesses describe her as a silent, ominous figure whose presence chills the air and sends shivers down the spine. For those brave enough to travel Wakehurst Parkway at night, be prepared for a journey filled with unexplained phenomena and ghostly apparitions. Many have reported hearing footsteps, whispers, and even feeling an icy touch when no one is around. Australia is a land rich in history and supernatural tales, and Wakehurst Parkway is just one of many haunted locations. So if you ever find yourself in New South Wales, take a drive down this eerie road, but keep your eyes on the rearview mirror, for you never know who or what might be joining you for the ride. And with that, our journey through the world's haunted roads comes to an end. But the night is still young, and the shadows are always lurking. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes on the road. As our journey through the haunted highways of the world draws to a close, we make one final stop, this time in the heart of India. Welcome to Delhi Cantonment Road, a place shrouded in spooky tales and eerie encounters. Located in the bustling capital city of New Delhi, this road may appear ordinary by day, but by night it transforms into a realm of the supernatural. Countless travellers have reported sightings of a spectral woman in white who appears out of nowhere asking for a lift. Legend has it that this ghostly figure is the spirit of a woman who met a tragic end on this very road. Those who dare to stop and offer her a ride are said to experience a sudden chill as the apparition vanishes into thin air, leaving an unsettling silence in her wake. But the haunting does not end there. Drivers have recounted eerie experiences of their cars stalling inexplicably or feeling an icy presence in the back seat. The road itself seems to exude a sense of foreboding, making it a place where the lines between the living and the dead blur. For those brave enough to traverse Delhi Cantonment Road at night, be prepared for an unnerving journey. The road is often enveloped in a misty haze, and the silence is punctuated by the occasional rustle of leaves or distant whispers. India is a land steeped in history and mysticism, and Delhi Cantonment Road is just one of its many haunted locales. So, if you ever find yourself in New Delhi, take a drive down this eerie road, but be cautious, for you never know what spectral presence might be lurking in the shadows. And with that, our journey through the world's haunted roads comes to an end. But the night is still young, and the shadows are always lurking. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes on the road.